Hello and welcome back to Road to Endgame, my Thor cosplay series. Last time we had a bit of an accident, but luckily, foam is actually pretty resilient, and I moved pretty quickly in the cleanup. Now, this is a very common thing for me. I tend to spill stuff constantly. You'd think I'd learn, but I don't. Luckily, the spill wasn't that big of a deal, and everything cleaned up pretty easily. Once everything was dry, I was pretty much done pinning stuff together. So, being the nicest day we've seen in a while, I went outside to start gluing. As you can see here, I've already got the two base pieces glued together for the lower chest. I'm taking that fabric piece that I was talking about and I'm gluing it to the back. And I'm doing some other reinforcements on it too because it was not holding together well. The issue here is that it was like, I don't know, 45 at the time. So it was a little colder than it should have been. I should have been gluing stuff together. Ended up having to use the heat gun for some of that. And the heat gun worked pretty well, but it was a thing. It was a process. So this is the piece right here that I was worried about, but it worked pretty well. The glue dried pretty fast with the heat gun, but I was very worried about stuff not sticking together right because I've had issues before using like the hot glue gun where I've glued everything together and then a couple days later it just comes apart anyways. I've heard that contact cement is much better about stuff like that, but I wanted to reinforce things just to be safe. Right now I've got most of the upper chest piece put together, and I am gluing this last little bit of detail into the neck piece. Then we moved on to gluing all of the finer details on. Again, I'm just using the heat gun to kind of glue everything down and to get the glue really working, because it just does not work in this temperature. It's close, it's not terrible, but it doesn't work as much as I'd like it to. And these smaller pieces were kind of a pain in the butt. I really should have cut these differently. But whatever, we're getting the pieces all attached. We're getting the upper chest piece attached to the lower chest piece. And again, I wish I didn't have to use the heat gun for all of this, but I did. I really just don't recommend using contact cement unless it's, I would say probably 50 to 55, maybe higher. I found that it worked really well around 60 degrees out on a later take, but at the 50 to the 45-ish, it was okay, but it wasn't great. Here you're gonna see me gluing together the belt piece, but I just did a really crappy job. I don't even think I show the front of the piece because I did a really, really bad job, and the brush I was using was way too big, and I could not get all the details right and aligned correctly. It ended really badly. You can't really see it. I probably cut that off on purpose while I was editing the clips together. As you can see, I am putting the Velcro on. I use the sticky Velcro is what it's called, so it's got kind of like an adhesive on the back of it. I put it on the one piece that I know where it's going to sit and use that to apply it to the piece that I'm not 100% sure what's going to stick. I have had issues with the Velcro still coming off even with the adhesive before, so I decided to put contact cement on that just to be safe, and I think it did work pretty well. It seems to be a lot more sturdy, so I'd say. Now we're getting the back piece put together, and again we are just gluing some extra pieces onto that to just kind of reinforce everything. We're still using the heat gun. We're gluing everything up where I put some extra pieces on that too. We're attaching the back piece to the chest piece. Again, it's not warm enough to use contact cement, and even though I'm using the heat gun and it's working pretty well, it's not working perfectly. I'm sitting there gluing one side together, and the side that I had just glued together is already starting to come apart. This is where I got really worried about stuff, and I had to reinforcing the crap out of everything. So the chest piece has a lot of these like little fabric pieces and other smaller foam pieces along the underside of the whole thing, honestly. I don't know, I went a little overboard with it, but at the very least I know that it's not going to fall apart. But anyways, thanks for checking out this video. Stay tuned because we are going to get some more videos out pretty fast. I am just about done with the costume at this point, but you know, at the time of uploading this, we've only got maybe a week left, so you're going to get some videos faster because I do want to have this full series up before Endgame comes out. So we'll see you shortly with some more videos, and like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. See you later.